Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Chilltown Hoops. I'm your host, Jermaine. The youngsters call me OG. My friends call me J-Dub. Let's get to it. I just had a conversation not too long ago about analytics, which I wasn't a fan of when it first started. I thought that it was gimmicky, and it was something that was going to take away from the game. All you're going to do is look at the numbers, and it's going to take away from actually watching the game and understanding the game. But as time went on, I recognized that, wait a minute, these two things do coincide. Because when we talk about great players, we talk about their numbers. I'm one of those guys who I talk about numbers. What did you produce? I don't really care much about your bag more than I care about what you produced. So when I talk about a guy's numbers and then I look at what he produced, then those two things start to make sense. So I say that to say, when I saw the Bulls Toronto a couple of nights ago, the numbers on the surface tell me there's no reason why the Chicago Bulls should have won this game. No reason why. They got destroyed on the backboard, minus 14. They got destroyed on the offensive glass, minus 8. I think they barely shot 30% on the long ball. It was 7 for 26. There was a stretch where they were 2 for 11 on the long ball. So, what happened? What happened to the Bulls that they were able to pull this game out? Well, a couple things. Number one of their best players in Zach Levine decided that he was going to put his head down and he was going to go to the basket. And nobody was going to stop him. He decided that he was going to do that. And he did that. He got going in the second half, 30 points, strictly by putting his head down. And what they also did with the Chicago Bulls was they guarded. They guarded in that second half. And they were able to slowly cut that lead from 19 to 16, from 16 to 13, from 13 to 9. And the next thing you know, we got ourselves a ball game. We have ourselves a ball game. I still am shocked that Rob Pelinka let Caruso walk out the front door. Because you can make an argument he's one of the best perimeter defenders in the game. He makes it hard on anybody. And he made it hard on Fred VanVleet. He made it hard on OG Anunoby. A prime example would be Fred VanVleet getting it going early. But in the meat and potatoes of the game, Fred VanVleet was slowed down. 1 for 6 in the fourth quarter, 1 for 4 on the long ball. Basically slowing him down and slowing that offense down. Same thing with OG Anunoby. He didn't give them much in the fourth quarter, if anything. Now, with Zach Levine going off the way he went off, you would think that the defensive scheme would have been to double him. But I understand on some level why that wasn't the case. And the reason why I understand that is because, in the words of Lupe Fiasco said something a long time ago. He said, if you are what you say you are, a superstar, the camera's here, so have no fear. Well, Scotty Barnes told us that he was the best defender in the league. OG Anunoby said, I'm the best defender in the league. Well, if you are what you say you are, a superstar, then have no fear, because the camera's here. So show it to us. And he didn't. He could not slow down Zach Levine. Zach Levine was giving it to him from any and every place. In the mid-range, going to the basket, in the mid-post, everything. He was giving it to him every way possible. Now, the question that I still haven't gotten a satisfactory answer on was, why didn't they double him to get the ball out of his hands more? Make somebody else do it. Well, one of the main reasons was because we have an elite defender in OG Anunoby. And you accept the assignment. So with him accepting the assignment, you have to perform that. And he didn't. So when he got going, then the other guy who also said he was the best defender in the league, and Scotty Barnes, well, DeMar DeRozan got going. That's your responsibility to slow him down. He didn't do that. He did not do that. And they did a good job in the second half in holding down the Toronto Raptors. I thought they did a really good job in slowing them down. A really good job in slowing them down. Keeping them off the backboard in the second half. Particularly in the fourth. One of the biggest things that I saw that I didn't understand as a unit. You know, to shoot, like we just talked about. We just talked about the numbers, and on the surface, this is what it looks like. But when a game is that close, there are minute things that matter. And one of those things that matter is going to the stripe and being efficient. And to be 50% from the free throw line in a game like that, of that magnitude, you're not going to win. You're not. To step up and knock down free throws, which is very important. I think they were 18 for 36 from the stripe. That's not going to get it done. That is not going to get it done. So Toronto has some real issues that they have to address. Now, one of the main issues is Nick Nurse. I think Nick Nurse is gone. I don't think Nick Nurse is going to be there after this season. I think he's gone. They still have to shore up their center position. Because Jakob Poeltl he's a backup center on a playoff team. He is not a starting center on a playoff team. He doesn't rim protect with the best of them. He doesn't rebound with the best of them. And that matters. That absolutely matters. And because he doesn't do that, they're not going to be as good as they could possibly be. If I'm Toronto, I'm calling up New Orleans and I'm asking for Valanciunas back. He's only 30 years old, and I think he's got some really good years left in him. One of the best glass cleaners in the game, which is what they need, and can knock down the mid-range, and can score. You don't need 20 a game from him. But you do need a big who can score, who does the dirty work like a big is supposed to do. So if I'm Toronto, I'm calling up New Orleans and I'm asking for Valanciunas. They don't use him nearly as much as they should. And I think that they'd hand him over. No question about that. I think that they would hand him over. Now the Bulls head down to South Beach, who they got the Miami Heat tonight. And what Atlanta did was Atlanta exposed a huge deficiency with the Miami Heat. And it's only one thing that I saw. I saw a number of things, but it was one thing that was glaring to me. And that one thing is talent. You can get by with dirty work guys for an extended period of time, probably in the regular season, and maybe even sometimes in the playoffs. You could get by with dirty work guys for an extended period of time. But eventually, you're going to run up on teams that have what you have in terms of dirty work guys. So where's the separator going to be? The separator is going to be in the talent. The separator is going to be, we have stars and you don't. It's kind of what Brooklyn is dealing with right now. Like, you'll have enough guys that will keep you in games, but who's going to be the guy that's going to push it over the top? Well, that's kind of what's going on with the Miami Heat. They have a star in Jimmy Butler, who, and I've said this in the past, I think that playoff Jimmy Butler is a real thing. I do believe that. But when he's off, when he's not when he doesn't have it going, he's really average. Bam had mentioned that he needs to be more aggressive, but they need to find better ways of getting him the basketball, which they do. A guy with his skill set and his skill level, he should easily be a 20 and 10 guy. Easily. They got this Bulls team coming in tonight that has beaten them 3 times. They have handled them 3 times. So this talent that I'm concerned about, it's going to be glaring tonight because the Bulls do have more talent. I think that the Bulls have more talent. The question is can the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler in particular, can he rise to the occasion in this particular situation? And I'm not sure. I'm not sure that he can do it. I think the Bulls beat them tonight. I do. I think the Bulls beat them tonight, and I think the Miami Heat at the end of this season, they got a lot of things that they need to address. And one of them is that, we got to get better talent in here. 6, 7 non-draftees. I mean, that works for an extended period of time. But if you're trying to make a deep run into the playoffs, you're going to run up on teams that have talent. You have real talent. And if you can't match that, you can only out-tough a team for so long. You still have to have that talent, and they don't have it. They don't have it. I'm going to tell you somebody that does have it, though, and that's Oklahoma City. The more I watch Josh Giddey, because I don't watch a ton of Oklahoma City games, I will tell you that right now. I do not watch a ton of Oklahoma City games. However, the more I watch Josh Giddey, the more I'm digging his game. And the reason why is because the simplicity of it. Josh Giddey doesn't do anything that he doesn't know how to do. Not only does he not do anything that he doesn't know how to do, he's awesome at the things he knows how to do. And he's a very smart basketball player. If he sees a mismatch, he takes advantage of it. If he's open, he'll shoot. If you're open, he'll get you the basketball. He's not going to blow you away with his athleticism. He's not super nice with the pill. He doesn't do a whole lot of extracurricular nonsense. No, he doesn't do that. But he's very efficient at what he does. He gets on the glass. He passes the basketball with efficiency. He does all of those things that you need from a point forward aspect. He does that. Now, what was the difference in that Oklahoma City-Minnesota game? Well, the difference in that Oklahoma City-Minnesota game was you weren't prepared for their starters, 3 of their starters, to go for 90 points almost. I think they had 89 points between Josh Giddey, Lou Dort, and SGA. They had 89 points between the 3 of them. And contrary to popular belief, because I know you, again, we talk about numbers, and for those of you who look at the box score, you would think, SGA went off. Well, wait a minute. I thought Herb Jones did a really good job on him. Herb Jones did a really good job on him in the first quarter by slowing him down, picking him up full court, getting the ball out of his hands, because SGA is one of their primary ball handlers. When you get the ball out of his hands, you throw him off rhythm, and I think that's what Herb Jones did, which would explain why he had a slow start, keeping the ball away from him. He got going in the second and the third quarter, but in the fourth quarter, he got slowed down again. What they weren't prepared for is they were not prepared for Lou Dort. These are how many 25-point games he had this season. These many right here. He had 27. Not only did he have 27, I think he went 4 for 8 on the long ball. That's something that we're not prepared for. We're not prepared for that, and because we're not prepared for that, we're going to lose. I think that Oklahoma City is a talent that I think that they're on their way. I don't think they beat Minnesota tonight, though. I don't. As much as I harp on Cat, who gives me Chris Webber vibes, like I said, when the lights get brighter, I think that they have enough talent to overcome whatever shortcomings Cat has tonight. I think they have enough talent. Rudy's back in the lineup, so your best rim protector, your best rebounder, your best interior defender is back in the lineup. Losing Jaden McDaniels is a big deal. Don't get me wrong. That's your best perimeter defender. And losing Naz Reid, that's a big deal. And I would feel differently if they were playing somebody else. If they were playing a higher seed, if this was the playoff, when I say the playoffs, I mean if we were actually in the playoffs, a 7-game series, I would feel differently if they were going up against Denver, if they were going up against the Clippers. But in a 1-game scenario against the Minnesota Timberwolves, against Oklahoma City, I like their chances. I do. I like their chances, and I like what they're going to be able to do. I think Anthony Edwards is going to have a better game than what you saw against the Lakers. Even though he did give me, there were some bright spots with his game. A lot of people harped on the fact that he didn't score the basketball. Well, he didn't score much, but he did the other things. Like he got on the backboard. He started to defend. And I think stuff like that, I think that goes a long way. So with that being said, I like Minnesota tonight in this game. I think that they give Oklahoma City a lot of problems on the backboard. I think they give Oklahoma City a lot of problems, not necessarily in transition, but on the backboard and in the paint. I think they give them more than they can handle. I think Jalen Williams is a fine player, but I think that front line is going to be too much for him tonight. So we're here. And this is what we do. The playoffs have officially started, so I'll be here for as long as you guys want me here. So I will see you soon. And until then, take it light, but take it.